Hi, I'm Jale. Welcome to my channel. This is going to be a general collective reading for today, Wednesday, the 27th of May, 2020. This is a general reading. Please take what resonates and leave the rest. If you're watching later, please click on to about 5 minutes in when we will be getting started with the reading. Let's see, waiting for a few people to join us. Hello, welcome. Thank you so much for joining us here. Hope you're doing well. A few announcements. Going to wait for a few more people to come in the room. Thank you so much for joining us. Hey, Stacey. Hope you're doing well. Just going to wait for a few people. Sort of roughly 5 minutes in, and we'll get the reading going. Hope you're doing good. Thank you so much. Shout out Stacey for the moderation. So the deck arrived, but we'll go into that in a second. If you're Nina, hi. Thank you so much for joining us. I hope you're doing really well. It's really hot today. I've just turned my fan off. Joanna, hello, welcome. Hope you're doing well. If it gets really hot, I might turn it back on, but it's like white. You can kind of hear the noise. So yeah, might get a bit annoying. But if it gets really hot while I'm channeling, then I might have to, mainly because ain't nobody dealing with that. We've got 2 incenses on the go. We've got double candles as well. Throw away an almost full pack of cigarettes. I'm doing this. Good for you. Good for you. Yeah. I did actually record a quit smoking thing. So maybe I'll post that. Maybe I will post that. Yeah, I recorded it a couple of weeks ago. And I totally forgot that I'd done it. Oh, great to see you too. I don't know. It's something must be in the air state. I'm feeling really drained, like really drained, and I've got a feeling it's the twins. I'm not going to lie. We'll go into that in a bit. Wait for a few more people to come in. Sophia, hello, welcome. Thank you so much for joining us. This is a general collective reading. If you do want an individual personalized reading, please, obviously information is in the description box below. This is a general collective reading. We'll wait a few more minutes for people to join, and then we'll go into a few announcements. I'm going to talk a little bit about the twins because there's a lot of confusion going on about the twins at the moment. Everyone is in disarray, and this is the thing. We've got to be very clear in this, because otherwise, if we're not clear, we're going to block. Let's be realistic. So yeah, thank you so much for joining us, everyone. I hope you're all doing very well. The current state of play here is that most people are back at work. If not, we'll be going back to work in the UK next week, but we are still in lockdown. As you can hear, there's no noise at the moment, but Fridays live I may have to change, because I can't think or channel when there's like so much noise. And unfortunately, at the moment, my living condition is getting a lot more complicated to channel and do work in. It's getting very, very, very difficult to focus. Is it a distraction? Yes. Is it done for a karmic reason? Yes. Am I going to let it stop me? No. Am I going to learn what this is about? Yes. That's the reason for this. A lot of the time, it's the confusion that's around, reflecting back some confusion. Now, this is where I go on to the twins information. We're about 3 minutes in. I'll probably start in a couple of minutes. But before I sort of start with that, if you do want to join the Facebook group, there is a Facebook spiritual support group. I'm hoping people will start discussing more openly their experiences with their twin flame, because at the moment I'm getting 5 million DMs, all people saying the same thing, and I don't have time to reply. I really don't. Otherwise, I'm not going to have time for myself. And the greatest information comes when I can have my downtime, because I can regroup, check in, and then channel and download what I need to download in order to pass it on. If I'm not getting a chance to do that and I'm drained, we're not going to get anywhere. Like, I'm just going to be really honest with you. So if we can try and focus on putting that in the group as best we can. Obviously, if you are not comfortable putting personal details in a group, then don't. But it is a private group. No one that is outside of the group can read the information. I've done it deliberately to maintain a safe space. If you've added people into the group that you would rather not discuss information with, there's not much I can do about that. Yeah, so Okay, let's begin. Let's go a few announcements. So first of all, we've got the Wisdom of the House of Night Oracle cards today that have arrived. This is hopefully going to channel the goddess Nyx. Nyx is the goddess of the night. She is the goddess of creation and new beginnings. I'm hoping we'll get some good juicy information coming through, but this is the tarot deck that I have just basically received. We've got one more love oracle coming. We've got another deck coming, and then I'm going to review what we've got, what we need. I'm going to be putting up a book depository wish list on my YouTube channel. Once this goes live, you should have that. If not, it will be posted later, but it would say book depository. Amazon at the moment are a nightmare. I ordered a webcam ages ago. I wanted a secondary webcam. They are being ridiculously slow with this whole thing. So, yeah, they're being ridiculously slow with the whole thing. So we are going to be updating a book depository wish list with decks in there. If you do want to purchase as a thank you, the information will be posted at some point. At the moment, it's just Amazon, and they're just messing people around, which obviously I don't really feel comfortable with. So that's that. Okay, so let's go into twins real quick. Okay, I'm going to just be very honest. We're in Gemini season. Gemini rule is a neutral sign, but it rules the mind. It rules communication, but it rules usually the mind, the mental plane. Don't forget, whenever we're dealing with twin flame energy, if your counterpart is confused, you're going to absorb that. Okay, it is then your job to recalibrate you. It is not your job to then have mass hysteria, because what you're doing is you're showing spirit you're not ready. That's essentially what's going on. And don't get me wrong, some of you are dealing with it like a freaking duck gliding on water, like very gracefully. But some of you, I'm going to be really honest with you, I'm getting DMs absolutely here, there, and everywhere. People freaking out. And I get it, but don't forget, when you're not only are you explaining that to me on a DM, that's a lot of energy you're putting out there. Oh my goodness, what am I going to... Right, you're not ready. I'm sorry to be blunt. I'm sorry to be cruel. I'm just going to be honest with you. You're not ready. If this is throwing you through a loop, you are not trusting your heart, because what's going on is your twin is totally confused and is in their mind, and you've slotted back into that mindset as well. In that case, you need to bring and center your energy back into your heart center and feel, because what you're doing is you're thinking too much. You need to feel. That is going to bring you through. Are some twins in union? Yes. Are some twins about to go into union? Yes. Is this for some a check as to where exactly you are? Yes, because if you are, put it this way, if you are in a discussion with your twin about the theories of what this is, disconnect and let them work through it, because you're just confusing. Personally, I wouldn't even be entertaining that. I'm not. Coming from someone who is in this experience, I'm not. Because all you're doing is you're reflecting back confusion here, and it's like a freaking vacuum. It's a tennis match. Cut the energy, because it's not going anywhere. You're going in a loop. If you're in a loop, cut it, disconnect, because it's not going anywhere. And all you're doing is you're extending. This is not about let's compare information and then confuse each other, and then we're just going to stay at a standstill for the next 5 years. I mean, you might want to do that, but this is about your own individual journey, that when you're ready, you are aligning at a certain level, you're in a certain vibration, and you're magnetized to each other to then come into union. This is not let's come into union, confuse the hell out of each other. They're confused, they're lost, and so I'm now lost, and now I'm going to confuse them, and then they're going to... It's not working. You're just going to continue on the same loop. This is what the spiritual support group is for, is to discuss these things as well. Because this is the thing, if you want a personalized reading and we can really get into what exactly is going on, no worries. But I'm going to get to the point where I'm not answering, and I'm not talking about people giving me updates about what's happening with the DM. I'm talking about, then he said this, and then she said that, and I've got like 100 hours of screenshots. I can't sort of maintain that energy, because it's unrealistic. If I'm getting 20 of those a day, and then I've got to do it live, and I've got to record a YouTube reading, where do I put my time? Do I answer the YouTube? Do I answer the DMs and then don't do a live? Do I do a YouTube recording but don't do a live? Like, because that's the point it's getting to. And this is the thing. In order for me to give as best help as I can get, I need to get the own downloads for you guys to pass on. Okay, so for the twin flame journey, if they're confused, what you would need to be doing is going within and connecting to your heart center. You're don't forget, this is opposing energy now. Okay, so and this is the thing, this is not for everyone. That some people have got this, they've got that understanding and they know, which means that they're at a level here. Now, don't forget, twins, they're merging. So if you're not resolving certain issues at a certain level, you're going to end up merging together, and you're going to have to be dealing with it later. That's not the idea of this. And then there'll be a disconnect. Make sure you're doing the work. Don't start skipping stages and trying to rush. It's just not going to work. And spirit, it's about alignment. This is not about let's try and quickly do a rush job and get together, and then we'll worry about this later, because you've got to start as you mean to go on. All right. This is especially the case if your person is being abusive to you as well. Now, I'm surprised that I even have to mention this, because my awareness is that you guys are very aware, but I'm seeing screenshots and things where people are being spoken to like shit. And I'm sorry to swear, and by the way, FYI, if you've got kids watching and that you're playing this on loudspeaker, just be aware that I can, if my guide feels that it is warranted, swear. And I'm sorry to drag people here, but this is getting ridiculous. So let's be realistic. If you are getting slated on a DM, I wouldn't even be entertaining that information. That's their issue. Don't allow someone to put their energy onto you, especially in that abusive kind of manner. Your empresses and emperors, this is not an alignment that is matching a twin flame energy. And the fact that I've even got to spell that out worries me. Okay, so that was the boring stuff over. Sorry about that for those who have already become aware of this information, but for those who needed to hear it, I'm going to be really honest with you. I'm going to start blanking people on DMs. I'm going to be really honest with you. And if you get blanked, then you get blanked, because I'm sorry, but there's sometimes there's no explaining to people. Okay, so Wisdom of the House of Night. Let's see. This is a deck by PC Cast and Colette Baron Reed. Let's start the reading. Thank you for the likes. Joanna, good call. Yeah, headphones on. Okay. Spirit, what can you tell me, please? Wow. Wow, wow, wow. Aphrodite. Will do, Nina. Aphrodite, vision, Aphrodite. This is the moon. Aphrodite is the goddess of love, okay? This is the feminine energy. This is Nyx. This is essentially, this whole deck is channeling Nyx. Nyx is the goddess of the night. She's also about creation. So vision, Aphrodite. She knows. This Aphrodite, goddess of love, knows the reality here. She is honoring herself. She's honoring her truth. She's honoring her power. She's also at a level where she doesn't need to sit and run after things. They come to her. They come to her. Okay. This is not crumbs. This is not I'm going to sit and beg for things. This is coming to me because I'm at a vibration where I'm drawing it into me like a magnetic attraction. Okay. She knows. This is a self-assurance. This is not arrogance or low vibrational doo-doo wounded feminine. This is, I know what is meant for me, and I am doing me. I'm in my power, and I am going to continue doing me, because look, my truth is behind me. This is the moon. She is ruling her emotions. She can see into the night, vision. She can see through the darkness. She knows what is at the other end because she can feel it. Get connected to your heart center, because this Gemini season is no joke. It is going to throw you. If you are not grounding yourself, if you are not connecting to your emotional heart centers, this is going to throw you for a loop. And then you're going to sit at the end of it going, what happened in that month? I'll be honest with you, this is deliberately designed that way. It's stretching us consciously. Don't forget the messages that have been coming through. Conscious awareness of what this reality is being shifted in every which way. The only thing you can expect is change. Don't put any expectations on anything, because you're gonna disappoint yourself, and then your vibration is going to drop because you've been placing expectations. This is transitioning through a fourth dimensional energy into a fifth, sixth dimensional energy, which is, because don't forget, fear is still prevalent in the fourth dimension. But fifth dimension, this is more about a high vibrational love. We have removed fear. This is what's being removed, because she knows. All right. We are transmuting fear. Every different vibrational energy that you're currently observing, viewing, seeing in around you is a reflection of what you're trying to resolve in yourself. Okay. So if you're getting people freaking out coming to you, that you need time for yourself, which is why I'm saying to you guys, I need some, you know what I mean? I'm going to take some time for myself, because people be freaking out. Like, you know what I mean? I need to ground, and then I need to connect with myself so I can deliver these messages. Right, fledgling. Right, fledgling. Let's go to the book for this one. I feel like I need to read from the book. One sec. Wow. When you receive the symbol of the fledgling, know that you are blessed with a time of learning new things. This is about a lesson in development. This is a time for you to remember that you cannot know things until you experience them. Being in this evolved state means that you may stumble a bit. Don't expect yourself to be perfect. Now is the time for being gentle with yourself as you step into your destiny to become a beautiful person that you're meant to be. When the fledgling appears to you, it is a sign of new growth and wonderful new opportunities. Step forward with a curiosity and a willingness to learn and discover. Thank you. Thank you. This is, again, you're resolving an emotional cycle that has not yet been mastered. This is about mastering total. I mean, look, essentially what's going on here is your security is being questioned. And so it's asking you where your defaults are. Is your default into your mental plane, or is it in your heart center? Are you in a little wobble or something that's going on around you? Are you then suddenly doubting everything that you're saying? Yes. We need to start keeping and maintaining that faith. Even if the reality, because this is the thing, I'll be really honest with you. It's very easy to do this, where you can sit and go, Spirit, can you show me what obstacles are blocking me, please? And they'll show you a sign. Spirit, can you show me what it is I most need to know to get through this obstacle? And they'll show you a sign. If you have done that and you're not seeing signs, you need to ask for a sign as to why you're not seeing a sign, and then try and just observe, okay? But there's a lot of energy here that we're being tested for a reason, because let's be realistic, this next new age, area, energy, fifth dimension is not, we're not in fear. We're in a very strongly aligned energetic kind of pole where we're in alignment, okay? We're kind of releasing a lot of fear at the moment, all right? So it's really important not to, again, if you're in that energy, just regroup, because when you're sitting, and this especially is it, when you're sitting and discussing it with a million people, your fears, is it fanning the flames or is it helping you? From where I'm looking at the moment, it is creating a bit of a vortex or a bit of a vacuum of energy, and then we don't want anyone blocked. We want a clear path. Is it good to release that energy once you've felt it and understood it? Yes, but I wouldn't. It's like people are forgetting basic steps that they should have already learned, and they're trying to run into something that you're forcing something. If someone's not ready, that's a good thing, because it means they're acknowledging they're not ready, which means they can actually correct it, which means that they're not wasting your time. That's how I'm viewing it. So just be aware, and that doesn't have to be just twin flame. This can be in every area, because we have got retrograde season on at the moment, okay, whereby there's a lot of pauses. And at the moment, it's to really recalibrate this energy that is coming up in a lot of readings. There's a lot of confusion here. Now, I'll be really honest with you. Am I a human being that has never been confused in their life? No, of course not. Without going into my life story. So I studied art. Okay, I went to university and I studied art. All right. I went to an art school and I studied graphic design, art and illustration. I can draw. Okay. When I got to about 20, I didn't enjoy it. I just went to university and had a whale of a time. When I got to about 28, I realized that this was definitely not the right journey for me, and I didn't know what to do. Now, obviously, I'm intuitive, but that wasn't accepted in my family. So I started studying psychotherapy and hypnotherapy to understand me, to then decide what I wanted to do, because I didn't know what I wanted to do. And now I'm doing this. So it's progressed from learning about me, healing me, trying to understand as much as I can about me. So 11 years on, this is where I'm at now. But did it get to the point where, I mean, I'll be really honest with you, without my guides, I wouldn't be here. This is why I always really stress. I've had a million people that have come into my life that have done it's a very karmic thing, but it's done very deliberately to try and test to see really where you're at. I haven't had people telling me, like, you know, this is what you should be doing and this is what you shouldn't be doing. I've had to rely on myself. I couldn't go to my parents. My parents were not supportive of this work. I didn't have any friends who were really into this kind of stuff. In fact, every single one of my friends who were intuitive were running against it, away from it. I had to fight my way through to get to this point, to the point where I would be alone. I would sometimes have no friends to speak to, and that's why I've got such a strong bond with my guides. So when I'm getting people freaking out about stuff, yes, my heart does reach out to you, but at the same time, I'm very aware that this is actually part of your journey. That this is meant to be a little bit convoluted for you to really connect with you, to then walk through a path that is actually designed for you in this way. It's not designed, again, you know, my path hasn't been, I'm not going to sit here and go, oh, this is a really easy path for me. It wasn't at all. And this is sometimes why it's done this way, to see, or test the metal. Are you prepared to go towards your dreams? Sometimes it's very easy for people to go, oh, look, this is my dream and we're going to get there. Sometimes it takes a while. Sometimes it takes a certain level of awareness. And sometimes it takes a lot of connection with the self. Not everyone's path's different. But what I'm saying is when you are confused, the 9 times out of 10, my whole philosophy without every reading I've ever done is connect with yourself first and foremost, because you will never lead yourself wrong. If you're doing it right, you'll never lead yourself wrong. Other people, yes, because we're only human. You, not so much. That's the idea. It's especially why if I've got clients that have been continuing for like years and years and years, I will encourage them to develop themselves, because we're not in the business of enabling people to maintain a codependent energy. We're enabling people to empower themselves to get to a certain point where they can visually see, feel, understand, know where they're going, because it's them, they're at their highest peak, they're at the highest level, and then they can walk their own path. This is my job, in my opinion. It is not my job to enable that kind of energy of total confusion. And if anything, I'll be honest with you, I don't relate to that. I've been in extremely stressful situations, and if I buckled like that, I wouldn't know. I probably wouldn't be here. So, like I said, the best situation you can do if you are confused is, first of all, meditate. The reason I'm going into this is because this is a general collective energy. There is so much confusion out there that if I don't kind of keep breaking this down, because after every live I go through this, and I get it, it is confusing. And I think this is where I'm this is definitely, hello Stanky Juju, welcome, thank you so much for joining us. This is where I've got to improve, is I am rubbish at explaining things. I am really not great at, I'm not even gonna lie, I'm really bad at explaining things, because I mean, it's not like I've done a YouTube channel before, you know what I mean? I've lived it, and I've worked a very solitary path. I've got a 7 life path number. So, you know what I mean? The most important thing you can do if you are in a state of disarray is, first of all, if you're an empathic energy, you reconnect to your own energy and you say, is this my energy? You know, for example, if you're around a lot of people who are in a state of confusion, you need to be very aware, are you absorbing that energy? If you're absorbing that energy, you need to reconnect with you, remove the energy, and then ask yourself, is this still an issue? Is this still an issue? Is this still a problem? What do I need to know here? All right, because again, there's a lot of empathic energies that are absorbing a lot of confused energy at the moment, and then they're assuming it's their energy, and they're going in loops, and it's prolonging their path. And obviously, we don't want that. We want people to be connected to themselves at all times and focused. You know. So the fledgling is an offering of you're breaking into this new period here where there's a transitional element to it where you're out of a comfort zone, but it's done very deliberately, not to make you feel rubbish. It's done to make you understand that there is a different way of doing things. All right, make sure that if this is you and you're confused, that you are learning how to make yourself, even if it's just, because it's the thing, people get really confused when they're in a dilemma or a situation that they think they've got to solve it in a day. It's not going to work like that. Sometimes things take a while, and sometimes you're not meant to know the information at the present moment in time. Most the hardest decisions I've ever had to make, I've had to send it upstairs and say, I'm not going to understand this at this point, am I, spirit? I'm not meant to. And they're like, no. And so we have to then hand it upstairs to trust that that's going to be shown to us when we need to. This is why living in the present moment is the most needed at this time, not projecting into the future, not looking at the past, unless we're trying to learn something. But if we're just trying to live, mindfulness, present, staying in the present moment is the most useful, because we are connected to the now, and so we're not going to miss anything. It's our core. This is about developing your core. You know, if your core is off balance, your very core of your being is off balance, yes, that you're going to get thrown for a loop through this. If you're not developing your core, look into developing your core. Hi Lisa, thank you so much for joining us. Hope you're doing well. Look into developing your core. And what I mean by core is how you deal with certain situations emotionally, physically, spiritually. Do you have a backup plan if you are disillusioned, confused, feeling disconnected, emotionally sort of underwhelmed, overwhelmed? Do you have a set routine that you can go to, that's your go-to? And if you don't, why don't you? Is it because you're not sure how to deal with that? Again, ask spirit. If you're confused about that, say, spirit, give me some signs. What do I need most at this time? Now, meditation should give you that awareness. Same with your twins. If you are confused about your twin, meditation should be giving you all your answers. Mine doesn't freaking leave me alone. I can't even get space. I'm like, really? Because he's giving me a blooming blow by blow account of everything, and I'm like, okay, great. Can you just get on with it then? Because I don't know what you want me to say. Like, you know what I mean? So yeah, it's an interesting one, but developing the core is very much a useful thing here. Yeah, there's a lot of I'm just hearing it's like there's one thing happening in a scenario, and then everyone's calling themselves into question. Not everyone, I'm talking about a select group of people here. It's like they've got one thing happening, and then their whole identity, or what they've built as their identity, is crumbling. This should be a mirror to say to you, we need to redo this, because this is not a solid built up identity of self. Because this is the thing, I'm going to be very honest with you, coming from someone who spent 11 years making themselves into a fucking fortress, and I'm sorry for swearing there, that just slipped out. Earphones on if anyone's got kids around them. And yes, definitely my problem is letting the walls back down, but sometimes you have to build your core for a reason, okay? Because you got to remember, if you're in this time now, what's going to happen in X amount of, where's your goal leading you towards? Are you going to need a strong sense of self? If you are, this is why this is testing you now. Again, like I keep saying, it's not to make you feel like you're a useless human being. It's to make you understand and learn to a certain stage, so that you can get to a point where you are flying, passing with flying colors, and that you are at a stage where you're vibrating at the same level to draw this energy in. The sense of self, the core of you, is it built upon egoic patterns? Is it built upon expectations? Is it built upon projections of what other people's expectations are? That has to come down. We're talking about tower moments here. That has to be removed in order for that soul to become very much aligned with the external reality and within this reality we are, living within our physical bodies. Because at the moment there's a disconnect here between what our souls are living and what our physical realities are, and that's why there's so much confusion. So if someone around you is in that energy, let them figure it out. It is not your, unless you are, look, personally, that's codependency. If you are in a connection or a twin flame where that person's that confused, let them figure it out. It is not your job to figure them out for them. It's not your job. In fact, if anything, you are falling into a trap of alleviating where they need to be doing the work. And that's not going to help anything. It's going to prolong it. It's going to prolong it. All right. So if they're confused, you let them be confused, because otherwise you're going to get sucked into that energy. What should we do? Well, you focus on you. You focus on you. It's always, you always refer back to the self. Always. If you have got a million people around you totally confused and not sure what to do, and it's affecting your energy, you regroup. You spend time and you connect with your guide, you connect with your higher self, you've got 8 elements at least of spiritual teams. Some people haven't even connected with, and this is not a competition obviously, but I'm just giving you an example. Some people haven't even connected with point 1, which is your guides. Think about how much more information you can be getting if you're connecting to yourself. There's always room for development, always. And this is coming from someone who's dedicated a lot of the last 3 years of my spiritual development. Because I had to. I was ill in a bed for 2 years. I didn't have anything else to do. That sounds ridiculous, but it's called shamanic illness. It's a shamanic sickness that people go through. It's like an initiation. So we just get on with it, you don't, this is the thing. I had a million different people around me who were telling me, oh, just get on with it, just get on with this. And it's like, I will get on with it. Yeah, Crystal, there's a spiritual support group that is in the description box, thanks Stacey, on Facebook. If you, we don't do readings in there, but this is just if you want to discuss things that are confusing or whatever, then my recommendation is, because this is the other thing that's been confusing for me personally. Every time I'm replying to someone's DM, there's so much information that could be helping other people that I get really upset, because I feel like I'm doing someone else out of help, because I could be putting that information where everyone can see it, which is why I'm talking about this now. Because, and this is not to single anyone out, this is because I've got a very disciplined guide, so please excuse me if I'm super disciplined in this, because they've made me that way, unfortunately. It's the most productive. I sound like my dad. My dad's a Virgo. It's so that we can make best use of time, so that we can actually progress and learn as best we can. That's the easiest way of saying it, so that everyone can be supported, best way they can be. All right. Now, am I talking about people that are just giving me updates about their twin flame? No, of course not. Obviously that's nice to hear that this is, a good union, all the updates. Where and when? What do you mean where and when? You can post in the Facebook group, spiritual support group. It's a general spiritual support group. It's a peer-led group. If you want to go in there and just sort of dump your problems and then wander off, no, that's really not going to be happening. This is a peer-led, so it's a joint effort. When you want to top your cup up, and you have to top your cup up, go off and obviously do your self-care. But when you feel like you need some support, post in the group general kind of information about, obviously don't give names, don't dox yourself on the internet, and then hopefully someone will be able to help you. Now, obviously, once you're at a point where you can help others, the idea is you then go back in and support other people. It's a peer-led group. If you want to go in and just take and leave, that you'll be removed. I'm going to just be honest with you, because that's also been, unfortunately, that's been happening. And at the moment, this, you know, we're in a really, this is the kind of time when we should be helping people. So yeah. Now, is this going to be I don't know what to do, but I haven't meditated and I haven't even checked the information? No, because you're going to, the first thing you're going to be told is, can you meditate and see if you can get the information? Again, there's a lot of very highly able people. A lot of my subscribers are extraordinarily evolved souls that are, there's a they have an awareness, and they do the meditation. They're at a point in their journey where they've either developed or they're starting to develop, and they've got very good insights and intuition. So my recommendation is, Crystal, is if you are at a position where you've never meditated, that would be the first point of call. That would be the first point of call, and then join the group, because you know what I mean? It's like, right, so you need to meditate then. Okay. Yeah. This is the listening card. And Kramisha. It says, darkness does not always equate to evil. Light does not always bring good. There are really subtle signs everywhere here that I'm just hearing my ancestors just saying they're missing the signs. They're missing the signs. Some people are missing signs here. Now, I'm going to be really honest with you. So I was sat the other day and I was, before meditation, sometimes I'll take 10 minutes just to kind of let my mind wander a little bit. And I must have asked a question, which usually happens. And I could immediately look over at my tarot decks and I saw a rainbow that was imprinted from the light refraction onto the decks. Now, if you're aware of anything that I've been doing, there is a massive significance around rainbows. It's God's promise. It's an ascension energy. It's 7 chakras. It's the number 7. My life path is a number 7. This is a spiritual path. Okay. For me, I laughed because I was like, I remember thinking, what was the question I asked? I'm never going to remember the question I asked. And they told me, because this is how, you know, we've got into a routine now where they'll just explain. And they said, you asked what you needed to know at this time. And they showed me the rainbow. It doesn't have to be so complicated. It doesn't have to be, you know, what is the next time I'm going to be able to develop my next project, or when is the next time? Sometimes it can be a very subtle question and a subtle answer, but that whole insight, that whole thing shifted my energy to the point where I started noticing other things, because sometimes it's the very small things. There's a lot of energy here of people shifting very subtly but not noticing it, because they're not having the time to connect to themselves, because they're getting absorbed in this collective energy of, oh my goodness, Gemini, in, out, not sure, back forward. Don't forget, we've got this until the 21st. We have to ride the wave. Back to the original information that I gave when we first did lockdown lives. Ride the wave. Is it uncomfortable? Can it be excruciating? Can it be freaking awful? Yes. I'm not going to sit here and lie, but you don't know what's to come yet. Are you meant to know what's to come yet? Sometimes yes, sometimes no. Sometimes yes, sometimes no. If it's meant for you and you're meant to know, and again, you'll see it from signs. Well done. Exactly. I'll be really honest with you. Steve Noble, if you haven't already checked it out, has just posted a new meditation, which is about the 8-pointed star, which is the 8 different levels of connections of friendly guides. So the inner realms, the elven realms, the ancestors that maybe have gone beyond karma, that can help you with your bloodline. That for me was like freaking gold dust when I discovered that. Okay, so Stanky Juju. Basically, I'm posting a book depository wish list later on. Okay, there is a Amazon wish list that is in the description box, hun. But we've had a few issues. Now, first of all, I ordered something and then it took literally over a month for my I actually ordered this for my birthday, for the channel. I ordered a gift for the channel for my birthday that never came. They actually offered me a refund the other day. We've also had another person who has purchased a deck and then recently received an email to say, oh, we couldn't send the deck. Do you want a refund? So what I'm going to do, because I'll be real honest with you, I remember having this conversation over a month ago where the reason I posted it is because someone asked me, can I buy you a deck? So I posted it and I said, let's wait. There's something about Amazon here that I thought was going to let people down a bit. And unfortunately, it's come true. Let me post the book depository one. There's a better selection of decks. And also, it's a lot more efficient service. And I don't want you guys to get messed around. I feel like the Amazons, it's getting so confusing for people that I really don't want to mess anyone around. So what I'm going to do is by the time this gets posted, and possibly, because don't forget, we are starting the Aries June reading today. We're starting June readings today. And yes, we are going to be splitting them. My guides are now decided, even though they've decided to split them. Yeah, we're going to split them. We're doing first half of the month, second half of the month. Okay, so when that is posted and this live gets posted, there should be a book depository link. If there are any problems, please let me know. I would hate for you to have to be dealing with issues with that kind of thing. All right, guys. So, right. The fledgling came out with Playful. This came up the last reading. If you are in a state of confusion or a state of worry or a state of concern, find something within your heart center that is a playful energy, that you can allow yourself to enjoy. Because first of all, the solar plexus is the joy center. So if you're having fun, you're enjoying yourself, and you obviously that's your emotional world as well. It is going to reflect via the heart center, which means you're going to stay in alignment. If you're constantly battling this kind of in and out energy where you're confused and stuff, and then you're slotting into this headspace of worry because you're overthinking, we need to recalibrate back to an emotional kind of point of view where doing things that you enjoy, music, listening to music, dancing, exercise. For example, if you want a physical thing, exercise. If you want an emotional thing, music. If you want a spiritual thing, meditation. If you want drawing, I don't know, playing a musical instrument. More kind of left brain stuff, if anything. Not that we should be utilizing that, but it's like rather than learning, like, because learning languages is very right brain, it kind of detract. I'll be honest with you, I tried to learn a language recently, and because my intuition was rubbish afterwards, I was like, this is awful. So just bear in mind the activities you're doing can influence that as well. We've got vision, Aphrodite, and message. Are you not in your heart center, so you're not able to physically see what information is coming through? Now, don't forget, message is the guides. This is the ancestors. This is the information. The information is trying to get through to you. Are you in calibration? Are you in alignment? Are you able to see it? If you're not able to see it, you may have been missing messages. You may be missing messages right now. You may be distracted. You may not be grounded. You may not be meditating. So again, right, listening, let's see what else. Listening, guys, my guides are really on it with like, especially with me. Sorry guys, this card's just flown on the other side of the room. Right, here we go. Okay, so we've got deceit and listening. What information are you telling yourself that is of a, because look, the deceit card, it doesn't have to, Neferet, this doesn't have to be someone's out to get you. This can be that you are not observing something realistically, and so you're viewing it in a disillusioned way. You're not viewing it from a grounded way, because this is very Two of Swords energy where you're blindfolding yourself a little bit. There is an energy of that, I'm not going to lie. Now, if you are not observing that in the right way, how can you correct that? First of all, are you meditating? Are you grounding yourself? Are you, for example, salt baths? I cannot, if you are not already using salt baths, I don't know how you are surviving this whole thing. I'm doing it twice a week now. Yeah, so the salt baths is like my godsend, and actually I have to order more Himalayan pink salt because it's actually gone out of stock. I think everyone's got the same idea. So the big bag I showed you, that's pretty much gone. All right, because I use a lot. I have to. I'm using energy. I'm connecting with energies, and so I have to make sure that I'm recalibrated at every opportunity. Otherwise, it's not fair. Yeah, yeah. So I had one today. I usually have 2 a week. Sometimes if it gets really hectic, I'll have 3. All right, but it depends. But someone's trying to tell themselves here that things are. What is it around you that you know is not working? And I'm not talking about I mean, it can be relationships, but I'm talking about what doesn't set your soul on fire here, that is an old, outdated pattern of behavior that you need to release. Because this is, again, this is the energy of we're shedding layers, and it doesn't have to just be one and like, yeah, I've done. Because this is where let's be realistic, we're carrying. Our bloodlines are sometimes the hardest things to release. Even if it's not in this lifetime, we could be releasing, old, previous, past lifelines and parallel lives and ancestral lives, karma that is not even something that we, because we have to work through it. It can be sometimes that. It doesn't have to be something as, obscure as in your day to day. This is about removing the false mask and honoring that, again, working on the core of you. Not, it doesn't matter what people are viewing you as, and I know people sometimes take that very seriously. It should be about how you're conducting yourselves and what your core values are and who you are as a soul. And if you're not in alignment with that, that could be why you're seeing so much resistance in your external environment, okay? Because your external sometimes doesn't reflect back your internal, especially if there's a wobble. Now, this is the other thing, especially if you're twin flames. If you are not working on your shadow side, and coming from someone who had, I'm not joking you, my shadow was I'm a Scorpio moon. I don't even know if I need to explain more about that, but this ridiculous. You have to integrate it, and if you're not integrating it, and then you're merging with a twin, because yes, we do start merging with our twins even before union happens. Yes, that can happen. That's even more complicated when you start merging with your twin, because your chakras merge, and I know that because it's happened, and I felt like I was being sucked into someone. I was like, the heck is it? It's like a vacuum. So when people go, oh, I don't know if this is going to happen, I'm like, I'm getting vacuumed into something here. Like, and I'm like trying to, no, let me do me first. And you got to do you. Like, what's going on? So it's about evaluating, like, I think a life evaluation would be really useful if you haven't already done it. For example, with this lockdown, was this what you're expecting? If it isn't, why? Ask yourself all these questions. Interview yourself, dig into your own life as best you can. And if you aren't sure, Joanna, I'm telling you now, it's like a freaking nightmare, these Twitters. So, honestly, because this is the thing, I'm dealing with my own one, and it's not easy. It's not easy. And I'll be honest, I shut the door because I'm just like, listen, deal with listen, if I can, because this is the thing you got to remember. If you're dealing with that and you're working through it, it is going to have a knock-on effect to them. This is the other thing. So if you need to disconnect because, you know what I mean, where there are certain areas, I might start doing a twin flame check actually and see what areas need to be looked at, because I feel like this is where people are getting really confused, which makes sense, but it's because the other counterpart is usually really confused, and then you're getting suckered into it because your core is not developed. That's why I'm talking about the core energy, because it's going to help you with your union, but not only that, it's going to help you with your own life. Because don't forget that the union, the twin flame union, is about your own union with self first. The cherry on the top is union with them. That's essentially how this has been designed. Conclusion: once this has been looked at, I'm hearing the story writes itself. This is the kind of energy where the Akashic records have already recorded an outcome here. This is something that is already destined, fated. But I feel like people are running against their fate and wondering, because this is the thing, if someone is running, let's be realistic, if someone is running, where are they running from? They're running from themselves. Let them run from themselves. How's that gonna end? Because let's be realistic, have you ever seen anyone ever be able to run away from themselves or their shadow? No, because at some point you'll always come back to yourself, always. This is what I'm referring to. So if you're getting worried about someone running away from themselves and then you're thinking they're running away from you, they're not. They're running away from themselves. Let them run. They're just going in a loop. Don't you get sucked into that. You're going to lose 2 years of your life. I've seen it. You'll lose 2 years of your life easily, if not more. This is why I always say, focus on you, focus on the self, because if they want to run, they're going to learn. And I shouldn't laugh, because I know it's fear that they're doing it, because it's literally like, oh my goodness, it's every fear that's being reflected back to them that they haven't wanted to integrate. I totally get it. You know, some of them can't even look them in the eyes because it's that scary for them, because it's like they're seeing themselves, you know, they're seeing all the things they don't want to acknowledge. All right, so when you look at it and observe it from that perspective, and then they're getting aggy, let's say, or rude, yeah, because they're frustrated with themselves. Of course, I would be. But we're usually the divine feminine in the scenario, usually, not always, usually is the lead, what has to lead, usually. And so if they're going in loops, they'll learn. And I'm hearing from the guys, as sure as night follows day, they'll learn. This is the thing. I can't go into too much detail because my divine masculine actually watches my channel, so I can't. One point I'll be able to, but I know it's a nightmare. We're not talking, so yeah, that's the only way they can check up on me, is to watch my channel. Hi. So we have to do what we can, because otherwise things gets very distorted and confusing, you know. That's why it's very important, if one of you is not balanced or grounded, it's going to get, you're just going to end up following yourself in a circle. Right, let's see what else. Conclusion. What can you clarify here with this conclusion? What else do we need to know? I'm hearing as well, I've just got someone's masculine in my ear. Someone's been flooded with emotions and they're not used to it. What happens after a flood? If your house is flooded, what happens? There's a repair work afterwards, isn't there? You don't just get on with it. You don't go, oh look, I've been flooded, I'm just going to keep watching TV and electrocute myself. You have to do a repair job. You have to remove everything. You have to remove everything. You have to start from scratch. You have to repair, repaint, you know, get everything. The electrics has to be looked at. There's a process to it. All right. People are clearing out layers and layers and layers and layers. Of course they're confused, but is it the other person's job to give them the answers? No, it isn't. It isn't. You know, especially in the oh wow, look, I've just realized the card I pulled, High Priestess of Water. This is very Atlantis energy. Did you notice the flooding analogy I've used? This is very Atlantis energy. Wow. Now, this is very Scorpio, if ever I heard it or saw it. This is extremely... Now, I want to say this could be Pisces, but I can't... I mean, look, I'll be honest with you. This reminds me of someone at the depths of the ocean that has seen a few things. Okay, this is someone that's reached the level of depths of their emotion that can understand things to a very strong level. All right, if your counterpart, if you have not gone to that depth, are you meant to? Sometimes people aren't, like, especially if you don't have, like, if you've got like an earth sign moon, I would say depends. especially if your progressed moon is in an earth sign, then maybe not. If you were born with a water moon, this is going to be, you're probably going to be here to understand the depths of your emotion. Stacey, it doesn't, I mean, that's the thing. If the messages are coming through for the 11 in, oh, I get what you're saying. Oh, bless you. Yeah. Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah. He'll be in and out. Oh, he's always in watching. Yeah. This is why I didn't do read Twin Flames for a while, but then I was like, no, tough. Because I'm sorry, but this has to be going out to the collective, and I'm not going to change my channeling. It's my guide's choice what is brought up, so it's not about me. So if he is getting embarrassed, then that's something he has to deal with, I'm afraid, and it's not really my issue. So, but yeah, Stacey, I've cottoned on to what you're saying now, and I totally agree. Oh, he'll be back and forward now. He'll be in and out. High Priestess of Water. He's been caught, that's why, right? So this is someone that's seen the depths and has seen the depths of emotion, all right? Because that was the understanding that they reached. They understood that there's a process that they went through. There's a gift here, all right? When you're flooded with that emotion, I mean, first of all, you're at a totally different point of view, aren't you? If you're at the bottom of the ocean, your viewpoint to someone that's above sea level is going to be totally different, isn't it? This is someone who has been flooded with emotion and who has learned. Look, she's got her third eye open. She's got her third eye open, and I'm hearing third eye has been activated. All right. Third eye has been activated. Now, because, hang on, how are we doing? Right. We've also got the High Priestess of Spirit. Yeah, Stanky Juju, same. The last 3 years, I was in a bed. I physically could not move. Okay, so my grandmother passed away from MS. So my mum's lineage has multiple sclerosis. My symptoms were of that. But if you're talking, obviously I'm a protect salt, please, salt. Are we back? We're back. Let's get back on track. It's karmic. You need to look into that. I'm hearing your astrological chart's going to give you some more insight there. So High Priestess of Spirit, if you need me to do your reading, then obviously email me. High Priestess of Spirit. So this is a connection by her essentially really going into the depths of this emotional world, this new dimension. She found a new level of herself. He found a new level of himself, all right? Now, did that create chaos? Did that create chaos? Yes. Because you've got two bodies of air that are being formulated to create a kind of vacuum. Again, this is more vacuum energy. But spirit and water, it's like this is a very Atlantis energy. I want to say the point of which you are on your path with your twin flame, or also union with the self, could be relating to Atlantis and the part you played there. Excuse me. Because we've got air, we've got water, and we've got spirit. So if you're looking at the pentagram, the only thing we don't have is sword and fire. Sword is the truth, is the verbal, and fire is the action. But the acknowledgement is there. Because this is the thing. As soon as the acknowledgement is there, there is a reaction, isn't there? If you know something, there's a physical reaction. There's a conscious reaction to something, isn't there? Usually. if you're physically aware of something, you're consciously aware of something, there is a innate understanding within you, either on a conscious or a subconscious level, that is going to be either working behind the scenes or working on the forefront, right? It's like there was an activation. Now, are there several activations that you go through on a twin flame journey, or indeed your own self-actualization journey of the self? They're one and the same thing, all right? In my opinion, they're one and the same thing, because when you self-actualize, you end up not, depending on your journey. Now, I'm trying to remove myself, because I'll be real honest with you, I hate stereotypical stuff, everything that involves labels. And this is what happens. I know the twin flame journey, some people won't come into union. Can we stop making rules up? Sorry. That, if I hear one more person say to me, I know we're not meant to be looking into this because sometimes unions are not meant to happen. Who told you this? Did your guides tell you this? Did your guides tell? If your guide hasn't told you that physically, why are you listening to this information? Because I'm asking my guides and they're going, we don't know we don't know where that's come from. So I'm sat here thinking, so you know what I mean? Like, if I'm doing readings, I have to correct half of the information. This is why I always say to you, fact check everything, including what I'm saying. Because do you know how much easier life would be? Because then you'd be getting really actually a lot easier information through, and it would really help you. This is why my go-to is meditation, and I'll always recommend meditation first. Yes, it sounds like a cop-out. It sounds like you don't know what you're saying, but it's so that you can connect with you, so you know your truth. So that because I'm going to be real with you, in 11 years, do you know how many people have sat and told me that I'm wrong with my channelings, and then I'm proven right? And if I was sat and didn't have that sense of self, I would have buckled, or I would have got totally confused. I would have detoured. I would have messed my life up. I would have gone on the wrong path. Because that was my path as well, to learn that core, you know. So just be really careful, because when you step onto this path and the further you get in, because there's always tests, the more confused people you're going to meet. And if you're confused as well, that's it. It's going to be like, you might as well put like a freaking stink bomb in the middle of a room and just sit and absorb it and, you know, inhale it. Right. This is why, if you've got 5 million people telling you that black is white, go, thank you for that information. I will just now meditate on that. Go off, meditate on it, check with your guides, build up the bond. I draw my guides. Each new guide I get, I will draw them. Do you have to do that? No, it's because I love drawing and it relaxes me, but also because I'm tuning into them, because I have to do that to draw, it bonds me. My next step is I will have a conversation with them. It's like any new individual, any new person. When you meet a new friend, do you sit and you know, telepathically connect? No, you have to speak, because we're in a 3-dimensional, 4th-dimensional reality. But in order to do my job, sometimes it's good, because I will build up a telepathic rapport with my guides. Sometimes I'm communicating with them and you're not going to know. But if they're not answering me, or there's something else they need to say, or there's something they need to do, I'll ask them directly. I want to build a multifaceted connection with the guides, because also that will help your connection. That will really help your connection. Do I, when I'm sat here meditating and doing self-care and doing my own healing? Yes. Do I then also spend time with my guides? Yes. I want to reconnect and regroup with them. They're my key people. It's like you spending time with family, you spending time with your loved ones and friends. It's the same thing. If you then go 5 years without speaking to your guides and think they're going to help you, yeah, they're going to help you. Of course they will. They're always going to help you. But are you going to get that multifaceted layer? Not, maybe not. Depends what they're there for. Depends what you're learning at the moment, what you're working through, because we're always in an evolution, aren't we? We're always shifting and changing. So depending on what you're currently learning or working through at the moment, this is where we should be flexible on how we're dealing with our guides and our spirit team, and working with them, because it's going to really help you. It's because I'm going to be honest with you, sometimes you get people that are they've got good intentions, but they just don't have a clue, and they're telling you something like, I've been told so many times, your guide shouldn't be doing that. Your guide shouldn't be doing. I would be rich if I had I probably have millions of pounds. The amount of times I've heard people say that about my guides. My guides are obviously sat there going, they don't know what they're talking about. And obviously I'm trying not to be polite, because obviously I can't just sit there and be like, you don't know what you're talking about, although I'd really love to. They're like friends, aren't they? So It's a mutual exchange. It's a mutual exchange. We are in an energetic mutual exchange in all levels. If we are being assisted here, is it going to be easier if we are then giving back in some way or connecting with them in some way? Of course it's going to help. Of course. You know, sometimes that was being my only point of call. So of course I'm very close to my guides and my ancestors. Same with my ancestors. And I've actually got a new ancestor that's helping me today, FYI, that I was very lucky to connect to, actually, because again I took the time, because if you're doing meditation and you're like, I'm not going to sit and give a time scale, everyone's different. When you're starting off, obviously build up, but if you feel like you need to do more meditation, do it if you can with the time. I know everyone's got, you know, different things. People have got kids and they've got lots of, you know, things on, but you know, this is why, again, best use of time is really important, because again, it's going to help you guys that have got a lot on your plates. This is about navigating through your emotions so that this chaos is not distracting you, so you're not easily distracted and you can easily connect with your intuition and to get the right information through at the right time. Your emotions are not clouding judgment. People's opinions are not clouding judgment. Your connection with spirit is one and the same powerful connection with you. You connect to you, connect to spirit. It's one and the same thing. Right, let's have a look. I'm going to do one more card and then we'll go to the oracle. Where did that one go? Wow. Right. If you have managed to get that core under control, you've managed to get that connection very grounded and very stable, it's like an internet connection. It's like a telephone connection. If someone is disrupting the connection, is there going to be a connection? No. If there is someone standing on an internet connection or someone like affecting part of the connection point, either through many different ways, pressure or whatever, is that going to allow the connection to sustain? No, it's going to affect the connection. All of these other confused energies and distractions, don't let it put you off what you are trying to manifest, because this is what wants to come through. Wishing. Can you see the garden around her is totally overgrown? There's a mist, there's a confusion. She looks a little bit disheveled. It's like she's expecting something, but look at her environment. There's leaves in the pond. The garden's a little bit overgrown. It doesn't look the most inhabitable sort of situation. If you are expecting something to evolve, but yet the environment is not nurturing of that, we need to correct that. And what I mean by that is, are you looking after yourself? Basic self-care. Basic self-care. Yeah, you're decluttering your life, your psyche, your soul, your everything. This is the thing. Everyone's going to be super different. Now, I'm not going to sit here and go, and of course this doesn't apply to me because I'm perfect. That would be stupid. Because of course it applies to me. I'm here. Otherwise I wouldn't need to be here. There's layers of this, and this is why people get really put off of the spiritual path, because they're like, they get to year 3, and this is not a competition either, because I'll be really honest with you, I've seen some crazy good spiritual intuitive people who don't do the work and they skip the steps, and then they sit there and wonder why things aren't happening. And I'm like, you didn't. This is the analogy I give, okay? If you want to go to a certain level, you can only go as high as you've gone deep. That it's the universal order. It's the way it works. If you cannot even understand yourself to a basic level, how can you sit and observe from a certain point of viewpoint? That's why it's really useful to do this, because the more deeper you're going with it, in my opinion, now again, you might sit and go, well, this is not my path. Then great, you're lucky. But if it is and this resonates, then if you are really getting in amongst that energy, you are going to have a lot of an easier, your ride is going to be a lot easier. because I'm telling you, okay, I'll give you an example. I'm trying to give practical examples because then I feel like people might understand better. Let's say you've had a really hard path where people have been very, like, friends backstabbing you, family not supporting you, a lot of abusive situations, a lot of trauma, you know, no real support network, no real friends, very confused life path, not really understood what you're here to do. This is especially for you. This is especially for you because it's like they're testing you to see how much you're going to understand of you, because they're trying to, again, it's this. Let's confuse the life out of them so that they sit and doubt themselves. But actually the breakthrough comes when they pierce through that reality and go, hang on a minute, and they do the work and they dig and understand what this really means and who they really are, because your external will change them because you've done the internal work. Your internal reflects externally. If you have done the work internally, you are going to see a different reflection externally. And coming from someone who, one day I'm going to write a book, but about my experiences, coming from someone who, my God, I'm trying to summarize my path in a word and it's impossible. It will happen. I can testify personally to the fact that if you have had a nightmare of a path and you do this work, you will see something at the end of it. When I say something, I don't want to big this up, but you will understand happiness. You will understand happiness. And then you'll sit there and go, wow. And it will feel even more that sweeter because you never thought you'd get to that point. You thought you're going to have to resign yourself because this is like hell, you know? But when you get to that point, it is like you've broken through that reality that was deliberate illusion, because again, you've gone deep, haven't you? So your external is totally reflected in a very high vibrational way because you've shifted things, you've merged a lot of shadows, you've worked through a lot of the deeper kind of subconscious elements to all this, and you've released that. And because you've released it, you're not being weighted down. Your vibration is able to raise so you can see, and it's liberating. It's really, truly liberating. Don't underestimate this. Now, do you have to go to the extreme I've gone to and be like a monk for like 3 years? No. But that was my path. And don't forget, 7 life paths are usually very, very, they're loners. You know, 7 life paths are usually very, very meant to do a very solitary path. It's the way we're designed, unfortunately, but it's just the way it's because we've got to learn certain things about, like, for example, to stand on your own 2 feet and to really truly understand independence. You know, it depends on your soul contract, what you've chosen to come into this life to do. I think I chose the most annoying part, and I'm like, for goodness sake, I even look at my astrological chart and I'm like, for goodness sake, Jale, of course you volunteered to do this. Of course. But I think I knew what was at the end of it, so it was like that's what I focus on sometimes, or I focus on the present moment because I don't want to miss out either. It's not about getting to the end of the journey. Sometimes it's the journey that is the sweetest part, you know. Bottom of the deck reminder. Spirit's little reminder here, don't forget. So if you're in a very kind of, you're getting suckered into a reality once you come out this reading later when you're watching it, and you're getting sucked back into your reality where things are moving real quick, and then you start panicking and thinking, oh my goodness, why don't I just wait 1 second, breathe, go to the toilet. Even if you've got to lock yourself in the toilet, if you've got kids, lock yourself in the toilet. I'm telling you, 5 minutes, and just take some deep breaths and say, what is this trying to teach me here? Give me a sign. All right, recalibrate. You got to keep this energy at the moment. You're going to need constant recalibrations. I'm not going to sit and lie to you. All right. Right, let's pull some Nature's Whispers, and then I'm going to be filming June's reading. Let's hope there's some good news, and it is going to be for the first part of the month. Okay, we're going to split the month up. Right, let's see. Outcome, Spirit. What is it you want to tell us, please? Spirit, what do you want to tell us, please? Wow. Yeah, this is what this is for. Expansion. Your world is being expanded drastically. sometimes you have to really focus inward before you can understand the external kind of changes. And if your external changes are, you know, happening on a larger scale, it means your internal ones are as well. It's one and the same thing. So again, if there's lots going on around you, it means there's changes within you that is shifting, which is a good thing. But if we've got an expansive energy coming, it means there's shifts in consciousness, and the physical is trying to catch up at the moment. All right, just again, ride the wave. Don't worry too much. Don't worry too much about what is going on. Okay. What else, please? Last card, and then we'll get going. Do you have a hot air balloon tattoo? That's pretty cool. Oh my goodness, what did I say about heart? What did I say about heart chakra? So true. Look, open your heart. This is oh my goodness, it's a swan. We actually did. Oh my goodness, swans are really relevant. We've got that comet that's coming through called Swan that is supposed to hit Atlas. I don't know how true that is. It feels a little bit like someone just made that up. But swans are a very significant spirit animal. You might want to look into that. But this is, don't forget to fall into your heart center. Don't automatically fall into the head, because your head there's a lot of overthinking going on here. But the connection, there's a connection with you that's evolving, and there's a connection with others that are also deepening as well. Please make sure that you are reconnecting with yourself as best you can, so that you can recalibrate when it's needed, so that you're not getting kind of suckered into confusion or chaos. And then bottom of the deck, shift your energy. If you're not seeing reflective changes around you, make sure that because you've got your, you know, you can control that, can't you? If you shift your energy, you should see changes around you. All right. Okay, guys, this was your live reading. I'll post the book depository wish list. Again, should be on this live. If not, I'll go back into it and add it. And if not, it will be in the June's one, it will be in the Aries June reading for the first part of the month. Okay, guys, have a wonderful day, evening, wherever you are. Thank you very much for watching. Thank you for listening. All your likes, shares, and subscriptions, it means a lot to me. Until next time, take care. Bye.